I'm Masoom Raza from Department of Library Information Science, AMU Aligarh, and we'll be discussing under these content. We will take up the problems of collection development. We will take up book selection, and within book selection, we will see what it all deals with, and what are the tools and what are the principles. And in the previous lecture, we have discussed the collection development, but there are some associated problems also with collection development. So I just will try to highlight the problems of collection development, especially the collection development in the libraries face severe challenges that impact the acquisition, management, and maintenance of libraries collection. The problems of the collection development are: number one, budget constraints. Limited funding for collection development can hinder the library's ability to acquire new materials, update existing resources, and meet the diverse needs of the user. Budget constraints may force librarians to prioritize acquisition, restrict purchases, or rely on donations and external funding sources. Second problem is rapidly changing information landscape. A rapid pace of technological advancements and changes in the information formats create challenges for collection development. Librarians must keep up with emerging trends, digital resources, and evolving user preferences to ensure that the collection remains current, relevant, and accessible. Another problem is information overload. The proliferation of information sources and the abundance of digital content pose challenge in managing and curating the library's collection. Librarians must navigate through vast amounts of information to identify relevant resources, evaluate their quality, and provide users with access to reliable and authoritative materials. Another problem is balancing print and electronic resources. Libraries must strike a balance between the print and electronic resources to meet the diverse needs and preferences of users. Managing both print and electronic collections present challenges in terms of budgeting, licensing, access, preservation, and user support. Next is resource allocation and prioritization. The limited resources and competing demands necessitate careful resource allocation and prioritization in collection development. Librarians must make strategic decisions about which materials to acquire, renew, or weed out based on factors such as user needs, collection goals, usage data, and available funds. Another problem is collection diversity and inclusivity. Ensuring diverse and inclusivity in the library's collection poses challenge. In terms of selecting materials that represent a wide range of perspectives, librarians must actively seek out diverse voices and perspectives to build collections that reflect the demographics and interests of the community. And the problem is copyright and licensing restrictions. Copyright laws and licensing agreements impose limitations on the acquisition, use, and sharing of copyrighted materials in libraries. Librarians must navigate complex legal frameworks, negotiate licensing terms, and comply with copyright regulations while providing access to information resources. Another major problem is collection evaluation and assessment. Assessing the quality, relevance, and usage of materials in the library's collection requires ongoing evaluation and assessment efforts. The librarians must employ collection analysis tools, usage statistics, user feedback, and other assessment methods to make informed decisions about collection development, deselection, and resource allocation. Again, the major problem is also of the storage and space constraint. The limited physical space and storage capacity in the libraries pose challenges in managing and organizing the collection. Librarians must optimize shelving space, implement effective storage solutions, and consider off-site storage options to accommodate the growing collection while, while ensuring accessibility and usability. Another problem is user needs and expectations. Meeting the diverse and evolving needs of library users presents challenges in anticipating, understanding, and addressing user preferences, interests, and information seeking behaviors. Librarians must engage with users, gather feedback, and tailor collection development efforts to align with users' need and expectations. Dear friends, we'll take up the book selection process. So, book selection process involves multiple steps. We'll go step by step. So, in this lecture, I'll cover the tools and principles, and rest we'll cover in the remaining lectures. So, in the very first slide, I'll let you know of the fundamentals of the collection development and the balancing factors for a diverse and relevant collection. So, basically, the book selection is a fundamental aspect of collection development in libraries, encompassing the systematic process of choosing and acquiring materials to build and maintain a diverse and relevant collection. It is a critical responsibility undertaken by the librarians to ensure that the library's collection meets the informational, educational, and recreational needs of its user. The book selection involves careful consideration of various factors, including the library's mission and objectives, the needs and preferences of user community, budgetary constraints, and availability of resources. Librarians must balance these factors to make informed decisions about which materials to add to the collection, striving to create a well-rounded and responsive collection that reflects the diversity of perspectives, interests, and disciplines represented within the community. The process of book selection begins with the identification of potential materials for acquisition. Librarians may consult reviews, bibliographies, catalogs, and other resources to identify new and noteworthy titles across the range of subjects. They also consider users' request, feedback, and usage data to assess the demands of a specific material and anticipate the needs of library patrons. Once the potential material have been identified, librarians evaluate them based on established selection criteria, which may include factors such as relevance, authority, accuracy, currency, quality, and anticipated user interest. They assess the content, format, and suitability of materials for inclusion in the collection, ensuring that they align with the library's collection development goals and policies. So, book selection is an ongoing process and requires collaboration, expertise, and judgment. Librarians engage in continuous monitoring, evaluation, and revision to maintain the relevance and quality of collection over time. They seek to foster a dynamic and vibrant collection that reflects the evolving needs and interests of library users and supports their intellectual, educational, and recreational pursuits. Now we'll discuss the book selection tools. You can see these are the tools which help you finally in the book selection process, because ultimately the book has to be selected first and then only it can be processed for acquisition or for acquiring. So just we will discuss some of the tools so that you get some idea how the process is initiated. The general category of selection aids commonly used in the library, bookstores, and academic institutions to aid in the process of selecting books. So we have the first and the foremost tool is current list of books. Especially these are the publications that highlight recently published books, often categorized by topics or by audience. They are typically distributed periodically, such as monthly or quarterly, and come in various formats like pamphlets, bulletins, leaflets, or announcement folders. These lists provide valuable information about the newly released titles, allowing selectors to stay updated on the latest publications relevant to their collection or interest. Then the second tool, very important tool, we have national bibliographies. These national bibliographies are comprehensive listing of all the publications produced within a specific country or region during a given period of time. They serve as authoritative records of the country's published output and include books, periodicals, government publications, and other types of literature. The national bibliographies are essential resources for researchers, historians, and librarians interested in studying the literary production of a particular country or region. Third important tool, we have catalogs and bibliographies. Catalogs are detailed listing of books available from particular publishers, distributors, or library collection. They provide information such as title, author, publication date, and sometimes brief description or summaries of each book. Bibliographies, on the other hand, are lists of books grouped by authors, subjects, or other criteria, often with annotations or descriptions to help readers identify relevant titles. Both catalogs and bibliographies serve as valuable reference tools for discovering books on specific topics or by particular authors. Then another tool, very important, is subject bibliographies. The subject bibliographies focus on books within a specific subject area or discipline. They provide the list of recommended readings for researchers, students, and professionals interested in exploring a particular topic in depth. Subject bibliographies may include books from various publishers and authors, offering a comprehensive overview of the literature available on a particular subject. Another tool is current reviews. Reviews are very critical assessment of books published in the newspapers, magazines, scholarly journals, and online platforms. They offer insights into the quality, relevance, and potential appeal of a book, whereby helping selectors make informed decisions about whether to acquire or recommend it. Reviews may discuss elements such as writing style, plot, character development, and thematic relevance, providing readers with a nuanced understanding of a book's strength and weakness. And the last in the list is special list. Special lists are the collections of recommended books tailored to specific needs or interests. They may include lists of core publications in a particular field, recommended readings for courses or research projects, selections from the booksellers specialized in specific topics, or special lists also provide valuable guidance for readers seeking high quality books within a specific area of interest. Then now we'll discuss the book selection principles, and these principles are important because ultimately one has to keep these principles in mind while selecting the books, so that we remain judicious, wise enough, and unbiased while selecting the books. So we will be discussing these principles. Book selection principle given by Drury, McAlvin, Davy, and Ranganathan. One by one, I'll discuss these principles in detail. Melville Davies principle. His full name was Melville Lowes Keshav Davy, and abbreviated and shorter name is Melville Davy. The principle of book selection was best reading for the largest number at the least cost. This underscores the importance of maximizing the impact of library's collection within the constraints of available resources. So we'll just try to understand what are these three elements. Best reading. Librarians aim to acquire materials that offer the most value and benefit to their users. This include selecting high quality, authoritative resources that are accurate, informative, and engaging. Librarians evaluate potential additions to the collection based on the factors such as relevance of the content and reputation of the author or publisher, and the potential impact on users' information needs and interest. Then the second element is largest number. The librarians or the libraries serves diverse communities with a wide range of interest, background, and information needs. Davis principle emphasizes the importance of selecting materials that have broad appeal and relevance to the maximum number of users. This may involve acquiring materials on popular topics, classic works, and have enduring value, or resource that addresses common information needs shared by a significant portion of the library users base. Then the last element is least cost, which means while striving to provide valuable resources to as many users as possible, libraries must also operate within the budgetary constraints. Davis principle encourages libraries to prioritize cost-effective acquisitions that maximize the impact of available funds. This may involve seeking out affordable options such as purchasing used or discontinued material, leveraging consortia, purchasing agreements, or exploring alternative formats such as electronic resources or interlibrary loan services to expand access to materials without significantly increasing costs. The second important principle is of Lionel Roy McColvin, which is also known as demand and supply theory. The McColvin introduced his demand and supply theory of book selection in his book Theory of Book Selection for Public Libraries, first published in 1925. According to him, books in themselves are nothing. They have no more meaning than the white paper upon which they are printed until they are made serviceable by demand. The more closely book selection is related to demand, the greater is the resultant and possible service. McColvin refers to the supply as the available reading materials in all its varieties. This encompasses the entire range of books, periodicals, and other resources that could potentially be included in the library's collection. Librarians must ensure that their collections offer a diverse and comprehensive selection of materials to meet the varied interest, preferences, and information needs of the user. This involves acquiring books across different subjects, formats, and languages to cater to the diverse tastes and requirements of library user community. The McColvin defines demand as a user's expressed and unexpressed informational needs. Demand is not solely based on users' explicit request for specific materials, but also includes their underlying interest, preferences, and information seeking behavior. Librarians must actively engage with users to understand their informational needs and preferences, whether through direct inquiries, user surveys, circulation statistics, or observation of users' behavior. By understanding the demands for different types of materials, librarians can make informed decisions about which resources to acquire and prioritize for their collections. McColvin principles also advocates for the selection of only those documents that are demanded by the user for their informational needs. Librarians should prioritize material that are relevant, useful, and sought after by the librarian's user community. This approach ensures that library collection remains responsive and user-centered, reflecting the evolving interests and needs of users over time. By focusing on materials that are in demand, librarians can maximize the usefulness and impact of their collections, ultimately enhancing the library's value and service to its users. Next principle is also very commonly known as Drury's principle. The complete name is Francis Keys Vancouver Drury, and he gave the very popular principle to provide the right book to the right user at right time. And this encapsulates the essence of effective library collection development. So we'll see the components. What are the components in his principle? Major components are right book. What do you understand by right book? This refers to selecting materials that are appropriate, relevant, and of high quality. The right book should meet the informational, educational, or recreational needs of library users. Librarians consider factors such as the accuracy, authority, and courtesy of the content, as well as the suitability of the book's subject matter and format. The second component here is right user. The librarians recognize that different users have different preferences, interests, and needs. The right user could be a child looking for a picture book, or a student researching on a topic for a school project, or an adult seeking leisure reading material. Selection decisions are tailored to the demographics, reading levels, and interests of the library's diverse user base. And the third most important component is right time. Timing is also crucial in the book selection. The right time could refer to the selection of material that are timely and relevant to the current events, trends, or season. It could also mean offering materials that align with users' developmental stages, academic schedules, or personal interest. Librarians aim to anticipate and respond to users' need in a timely manner, ensuring that the collection remains dynamic and engaging. And the most common and the most common laws of library science, they are also the guiding principles for the book selection. You all are aware of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan's principle or the laws. The first three laws specifically, they can be considered as the principles for guiding the selection. So we'll take up one by one. Especially this was outlined in his book Library Book Selection, published in 1952. This provides a framework for guiding document selection for libraries. So the first law, books are for use, where Ranganathan very clearly emphasized that the library's collection should be composed of materials that are useful and relevant to the readers of a particular library. When selecting documents, librarians must consider both the current and future needs of the user. This involves assessing the potential demands for material and avoiding the acquisition of costly items that are unlikely to be frequently used. The principle of utility guides librarians to prioritize the acquisition of materials that will be actively utilized by library patrons, ensuring that the collection remains dynamic and responsive to users' need over time. The second law, every reader his or her book. The Ranganathan's second law emphasizes the importance of catering to the informational needs of all the users of the library, regardless of their background, interest, or preferences. Librarians must select documents that cover a diverse range of subjects, languages, and styles of exposition to accommodate the varied requirement of users. This principle underscores the need for inclusivity and accessibility of library collection, ensuring that every user can find materials that meet their specific informational needs and preferences. Dr. Ranganathan's third law also emphasizes the importance of facilitating the use of selected documents by ensuring that they are accessible and available to users when needed. Librarians must make all efforts to promote the use of valuable documents that have been selected based on anticipated user needs. The principle underscores the proactive role of librarians in connecting users with relevant resources and maximizing the utility of library collection.